morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. I'm Will Sutton. Yes, I am flying solo in this side of the glass, but on the other side, Narayan is back. He's back. So give us a ring at 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. I'm going to put him on the spot. You took a few days off. You feel refreshed? You feel refreshed, Naran? You feel refreshed? Yep. He's shaking his head. Yes. Okay. All right. I hope you had a good time. Did you sleep in late? A little bit.
Most days, definitely.
Most days. All
Yeah.
right. Well, when you're producing the Good Morning Show and then shows throughout the day, and you have to get up and get going, if you're off, it's nice to be able to take a little break. So, Nine Sanders is back in the seat on the other side of the glass, folks. So the WBOK 12:30 a.m. talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. Well, this past Saturday was the first day of early voting. First day of early voting for the November 15th election. Some folks been saying the November 15th runoff, and you're accurate to a degree, but the issue is that there are 6 people running for office in Orleans Parish, but we got several other things on the ballot, including the bond measures that we talked to you about last week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So early voting started on Saturday. It continues through November 8th. And you have the opportunity to vote for the criminal clerk, the incumbent, Darren Lombard, or the challenger, Calvin Duncan. And of course, that turned out to be a very tight race, 47 to 46, with the third candidate getting, I think, about 7%. So no one won that race. And so you have the opportunity to decide whether Mr. Lombard keeps his job or if Mr. Duncan at least deserves a chance, if not, to do a better job. So that is something that's really important as we look at the November 15th election. And those of you all who were out to vote on Saturday, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know how it was at the polling place that you chose. Because, of course, the early voting locations are not the same as your precinct voting location on election day. So my visiting around looked like it was people were coming out, but certainly nothing like the people were coming out on election day and October 11th, and then in early voting for the October 11th. But it looks like we still had a few thousand people come out. So that's good. And it was the first day. So we've got an opportunity to vote today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are the options for voting early. However, if you like to hold off until Election Day, that Election Day is November 15th. And the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Election Day. Early voting polls are open 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. So the polls were not open on yesterday. No voting on Sundays, but November 1 through the 8th. So that means today is November 3rd, and you have the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th to vote between 8:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. If you choose to vote early at City Hall, there are some designated locations where you can park for free and go and take care of your voting obligation. But it is not a place to park for free, go and take care of your voting obligation, and then go hang out in downtown for the day. because they will get you. They will absolutely get you. And of course, as we like to remind you here at the Good Morning Show, those are not the only options for voting. So if you are eligible for absentee or mail ballot, you still have the chance to request an absentee or mail ballot, and you can get that back no later than 4:30 p.m. on the 14th, the day before the election. So you are eligible for more reasons than one. It's not just for the old folks. All right. So if you qualified with a disability, doesn't matter your age, you can get an absentee or mail ballot. You're in the military or overseas, you can get an absentee or mail ballot. If you're a senior, 65 and older, you can get an absentee or mail ballot, whether you're disabled or not. And if you're a sequestered juror, you can get an application for an absentee or mail ballot. You can also be a part of nursing home early voting program. So you can find out more about that at GoVote or sos.la.gov. And that is something that I think too many people overlook as an opportunity for themselves or for their loved ones. There are other people who qualify for absentee ballots, and that includes students, instructors, professors who live outside of your parish of registration um, during the election cycle. So if you are off in school in another parish, so you're still in Louisiana, but you're from Orleans or you're from St. Bernard or some other place, but you're away in school, you can get an absentee ballot. And certainly if you're in another state, you can get that absentee ballot. And you can also get one if you are involuntarily confined in an institution for or a facility, a clinic for mental treatment outside of your parish. So if you are there, but you still hold on to your right to vote, and relatives, you can help them with their exercising their right to vote by making sure they understand they have access to the absentee ballot opportunity. And the same is true for those who are incarcerated. If you're incarcerated outside of your parish, so let's say you live in Orleans, but for some reason you were incarcerated in another parish that's not where you are registered to vote, then if you're not in prison for a felony, for a conviction of a felony, you can apply for the general application for an absentee or mail ballot. So there are a number of ways that you can vote. Periodically, like to remind you about the absentee ballot option because it's a really important option to be aware of. Because one of the things you can do is you can request the ballot if you're eligible. They'll deny you if you're not. You can request the ballot, receive the ballot, and then you don't have to use the ballot. You can go and early vote. But don't try to go to early vote and exercise a second vote with the mail ballot. You can also hold on to the ballot and plan to vote on election day. You can do that. Or you can exercise your right to vote with the early ballot in the comfort of your temporary quarters, whatever they might be, in another parish, or in the comfort of your home. So please, please, please keep that in mind and make sure that you are aware of those options. But of all things, please, please, please make a plan to vote. Voting is important. There's always a tremendous fall off from the general election to a runoff, or in the case of November 15th, it's not just the runoffs, but it also includes the the election opportunities to vote on propositions, bond measures that you want to be aware of. So again, for the runoffs in the clerk position, clerk for criminal district court, we got Calvin Duncan and we have Darren Lombard, both are Democrats, both black men. And in council member District A, the runoff is between Holly Friedman and Amy McCarron, both Democrats, both white females, both work for Joe Giarrusso, Holly Friedman and Amy McCarron. And of course, in District E, we've got Jason Hughes and Cindy Nguyen. Jason is a Democrat. Cindy is a Democrat. Jason is a black male, and Cindy is an Asian female. So we had Jason and Cindy on last week, Monday, and we had Holly Friedman and Amy McCarron on Friday, so that you could hear what they had to say in the same space at the same time. For those who are wondering what about the clerk's race, here's the latest update. We have invited both candidates to come in for a similarly formatted segment program. They have both been invited. Mr. Lombard has said yes. Mr. Duncan has said no. Mr. Lombard has said yes. Mr. Duncan has said no. So we'll be making some decisions about that this week, but we're likely to proceed without Mr. Duncan and proceed with Mr. Lombard. All right, we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, Ms. Jones. How are you?
Oh, fine, and how are you? Good morning
Fabulous.
to you and to the audience. Just another statement that people who are unable to really do the actual voting or what have you, understanding or any disability, they are all allowed to have someone help them. Just register with the register of voters with your name in the records to show that you you need to assist someone. All
Yeah.
of that counts.
Yeah, that's a good reminder because people can have assistance.
Right.
Unfortunately, the law changed, so you can't assist like 20 people.
No, one person in a booth, with that person who's voting, because that helps someone. A person may be visually impaired, just unable to read, but then, of course, for something you read before you go and know what to mark off, mark your choice. But some people may need assistance in some way, and they just need to register.
Absolutely.
Make sure.
Well, thank you for doing that, and glad you. I know you're always involved in registration and voting.
I tried because it was made easier the year I was able to register to vote. It wasn't always easy.
Nope.
It was not always easy, and people need to really consider what we have two candidates. One has a lot to offer, his self-experience, and trust me, that is real. That is real what he's saying about his records, not being able to obtain them. So he knows that he's been through the grinding mills to be able to tell people. So people need to consider.
Okay.
All
right. Well, thank you, Ms. Jones. You have a blessed day. Appreciate you calling in.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. So since we were not on the air after the Friday morning show, there have been a number of things that have developed. I want to let you know about some of those things. So, for instance, a man was killed in New Orleans East shooting, and that happened last week. I'm not sure that this is one that we touched on before, so I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that, because that was in the 7,000 block of Lawrence Road in New Orleans East. The shooting was first reported as a suicide, and then police confirmed that it was a dead man on the scene with one gunshot, and then they later determined that the man had been killed by homicide. So that is something. If any of you all are in and near or around that area when that happened about 3:30 in the morning a few days ago, uh, police can always use your help. We also had a situation that happened on Saturday, and that was an unclassified death after a body was found in Lake Pontchartrain on Saturday. Now, yes, it was a nice day, but it was chilly enough to wonder why someone might be in the water. But the Levy District Police notified the police department about 12:30 on Saturday that an unresponsive man had been found near the 7300 block of Lakeshore Drive, and the man was declared deceased at the scene. So that's another something you might have seen some commotion about if you were driving over that way, or know folks who live over there in the lake neighborhoods. That happened. And on Halloween, of course, there's mischief of all kinds, most of it in good fun. But there was a man in custody after a Halloween crime spree that included a failed carjacking and armed robbery in a Canal Street a convenience store. The man allegedly took a woman hostage and engaged in a brief standoff, and then the police shot him. This was about 8:30 p.m. on Friday, and that suspect is Emmanuel Harris, 54. And a number of people nearby saw this going down. There was an officer on the scene who requested backup, and they were working as a part of being out and on guard, watching to keep the city safe. So a couple of officers came to help. The man had meanwhile locked himself inside the store. And so what they thought might be a weapon caused them to fire at the man. And so the hostage came out okay, but they're still investigating to see what exactly happened. And because there was something else that happened earlier that evening at another store at a gas station not far away on Bienville and North Galvez. So it seemed to be a bit of a spree because a number of things were going on. And then subsequently, 10:30 p.m. was another situation, as was in the parking lot in front of the JNY Food Plus store. So several things in a close order. And so that was some of the Halloween bad stuff going on. Crime Stoppers is available to take your tips and your information, your thoughts about any of these or other incidents. And that number is 504-822-1111, 504-822-1111. So just want to make sure you're aware of some of that news. We got other news happening, of course, and we still have election stuff, and we will tune you in on that. Some people might feel like it's overkill. I do not, because there's always folks who don't catch one thing or another about what's happening with the election, and it's important for everybody to participate and be engaged. If you're not registered to vote, be engaged and help those who are registered to vote, ask good questions, collect the information, listen to the Good Morning Show, listen to WBOK, and you'll get what you need. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. One of the most lasting images of former NBA superstar Shaquille O'Neal's playing days is him tearing down basketball rims while dunking like they were made of paper. But today, Shaq wants to build, and he's got a new partnership to do it with.
There's a tremendous need in the U.S. for better infrastructure. You know, you see it in your roads, you see it in your airports, your train stations, and I want to help make that change. And, you know, Jack Mel is the partner that can help me do that.
That's Shaq speaking to Bloomberg about why he joined forces with Jack Mel Infrastructure. That's an investment firm that focuses on big construction and utility projects across the country. Shaq joined the company as a founding partner and says he's looking forward to winning big in the infrastructure space.
Every time I win a championship, it's because I have great teammates. You know, one with Kobe, I'm winning in the broadcast with Charles Barkley. So I want to also win a championship in the infrastructure space.
I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
At Skechers, comfort is a technology. That's right. You don't just make a shoe and hope it comes out comfortable. It takes research, innovations, compounds, engineering, and so much more. To feel comfortable, you'd swear you're wearing pillows on your feet. We have features like Skechers Air-Cooled Memory Foam and fits like Relax Fit, Stretch Fit, Wide Fit, Arch Fit, and so many more to make the shoe feel like it was custom-made just for your foot. Plus, we have hands-free Skechers Slip-ins technology. Just step in and go. Find yours at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever comfortable footwear is sold.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the community scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. My name is Will Sutton, and you're listening to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 AM. We appreciate our listeners who are tuning in on AM radio, those who are tuning in from wherever you are, New Orleans, Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, Central Louisiana, Florida, Atlanta, L.A., and beyond by internet. And, of course, we always appreciate our Facebook Live listeners and watchers. We appreciate you tuning in, however you tune in, and it's a pleasure to know that you are there. So it is 7:28, folks. If you got somewhere to be at 7:30, you hope you can turn around in bed or jump out of your chair and get to work at the next table or the next room. If you were planning to be somewhere for 8:30, that's under the old time. We were supposed to fall back. So it is not 8:28. It is not 8:28. You probably want to change your clocks. It is 7:28, and now it's 7:29. So make sure, most of us with these new techie devices with phones and watches, they know the time change and they automatically make the changes. But then you got stuff like your alarm clock, for those of you who have that still. And you got things like the oven clock and the clock in the car, depending on how old your car is. Those things don't rely on automatically with technology knowing when to change. So that's up to you to make that change. Look, I heard about this story, and it's so disgusting. And I wanted to make you aware of it. Over the weekend, a 2-month-old baby girl that baby girl died in late October. And the baby girl died of broken ribs, internal bleeding, a severed spine, and it was uncertain at the time what exactly had happened. Well, the investigators said there seemed to be some neglect and physical abuse. There seemed to be some extreme hydration, malnutrition, a severed lower spine, and internal bleeding. That is a lot for anyone, but particularly a 2-month-old. Well, now the police have arrested the child's mother. And that baby's mom is Kayla Fontenot, Fontenot. I know some different people pronounce that different ways. But she was arrested on counts of first-degree murder, cruelty to juveniles, and second-degree battery. And the baby's father, Taylor Broussard, is wanted on the same counts, but they are looking for him, and they have arrested the mother. Always sad when anybody is injured, killed, abused, but particularly so when it's a baby who can't talk, who can't plea, who can't fight back, a baby with what Opelousas Police Chief Greg LeBlanc called unimaginable abuse. So if you have relatives in Opelousas, if you're from Opelousas, if you live in Opelousas, please contact the Opelousas Police Department if you have some information that can help with the location of Taylor Broussard, the father of this child. Please call 337-948-2500, 337-948-2500, and you can submit a tip anonymously through St. Landry Crime Stoppers. That's the Crime Stoppers in St. Landry Parish at 337-948-TIPS, 337-948-TIPS, or to give you all the numbers, 337-948-8477. really hate hearing and reading about things like that with such a young child. Certainly don't know all of the information, but with that type of physical abuse, dehydration, malnutrition, kind of hard to imagine that didn't just happen. So I hope that some of you all who have any idea about that will make a call to the Opelousas Police Department, 337-948-2500, and otherwise call anonymously the St. Landry Crime Stoppers line at 337-948-8477. And if any of you all have had experience with such abuse and situations, know something about that, love to hear from you so we can learn from what you know and we can prevent this kind of thing from happening. We've got a caller. Good morning, Don. How are you?
All right, Mr. Will Sutton. Are you related to Archie Sutton, the great legend, Booker T, LSU?
I am not.
Oh, all right. That's okay.
Not that I know of. So, what you got for
us? All right. Yes, I'm sorry to hear about any type of that type of abuse to a child or any person, horrible, really. Yeah, that's a form of torture. When you start to reveal those type of injuries.
Yep. And my wife and I were driving by, and I think it was a kid about 4. So in that case, the kid can talk, the kid can push, but there's no way that kid could push back on the man that was with them, cussing at the kid for having an accident in their pants. So we called it in, and I hope that others will do that before it becomes worse when you hear or see something like this. But an infant, Don, an infant? My goodness. Some people.
Yeah, 2 months. Women, new mothers experience postpartum depression. I remember my aunt, my mother's sister, who was, by the way, is 101 years old, but she would always visit her sisters when they have children, babies, and spend a month or 2 with them because the mother is something physiologically happens to the mother when they have a child, especially if they have, some mothers have children, 2 or 3 children in 2 or 3 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so that postnatal care and the prenatal care, the whole experience has to be considered when we see these young mothers, these mothers. We have to have, hopefully they have support in those vital times. It's something that this woman, the woman in Houston, she killed all her children. She had 5 children in 5 years. And so, but anyway, that has to be addressed in a very serious way. And talk about long-term care and benefits, that prompted my call when we talk about deficits. We talk about the national deficit, for instance, $38 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to look at the whole picture. We have to look at the tax policy, how it implicates itself in this national debt, in particular, when we talk about the tax policy. The tax policy, it says, reading some studies, the tax policy for everything from home ownership to capital gains, all of these tax policy incentives that skew itself towards those who are high income earners or wealthy, is more than all anti-poverty programs combined. So that's why we have, for instance, a $38 trillion deficit. in the United States, but yet household wealth is like 170 trillion. Corporate wealth is like $40 trillion, but yet when it comes to the national debt, it's 38 trillion deficit. So there's something. The issue may be our tax policy, the top marginal rates and all that technical stuff. That's very real for people working in America if you're not a high income earner. When I say high income, I'm talking about maybe over $260,000 a year. And the wealth that's owned or controlled by the minority of the minority, the 1/10 of 1% controls a third of the wealth. And yet you hear these people say they're going to give away their wealth. There's billions of dollars.
Right.
And a great wealth transfer. So, and so we have to look at the issues across the board. And it doesn't, the information doesn't pass on from generation to generation. We do a poor job of educating our children on the economics of how things work, and children 16 and under, for instance, spend about $5 billion. Children 16 and under, they have a $5 billion economic spending till. And so we do a not a good enough job educating our youth and our people on many things that's very vital. Everything from prenatal to postnatal depression and care. I mean, just the human experience. The human experience, I think, is being diverted too much to entertainment type stuff instead of edutainment, if you will. When I watched the Schoolhouse Rock, for whatever information it gave, it opened my mind to how the world around me works politically and economically. And so it wasn't just, this emptiness, if you will, of how wide somebody's derriere is or how, exotic they can be. But we just have to understand that there's a responsibility that we hopefully take on in a way that is cumulative and it shares information to a real dynamic that is subtle, but it is very vital to us. The deficits are just like tax policy is made, deficits are made. Deficits are not created by those who experience the downside of deficit. Deficits are made by those who are benefiting at the expense of the public good. I will repeat that. Deficits are made not by those who are contributing and may feel the ramifications of deficits. Deficits are made by those who are benefiting from policy, tax policy, and laws that benefit them to the detriment of the public good. And if there's no public good, there's no country, there's no democracy. Of course, there isn't no democracy. And people tend to not want to understand the power and the responsibility of elections and of participating in those elections, i.e. your franchise, the vote. So you're not just voting for popular people, you're voting for issues that affect you, pocketbook issues, community issues, and these things that affect us every day, from crime to business opportunities to all the public goods that we don't understand that is a necessary entity for to live in a society. Even though you are different in culture and different in language, you can have an agreed upon way to handle those issues and make sure people get their fair share when they participate. Thank you for letting me go on and on.
Oh, no, Don. I appreciate it. And it reminds me that, there's some resources that, are official around these issues and some that are unofficial. And, one that's been around for, oh, my goodness, decades is the U.S. debt clock. And so it's not an official government resource, but the people who run this out of New York use official government data, and their debt clock is updated every day. So it can be, quote unquote, fun, but it can also be quite concerning when you look at the data that they provide daily, because it's a real-time look at such things as the U.S. national debt, the tax revenue, the revenue per citizen, the federal budget deficit. So right now I'm looking at it, Don, based on what you were talking about with the 38 million. And so their actual number is changing by the second. 38 trillion 147,402,000. I mean, it's like amazing. It's like so many numbers so quickly, and it's an interesting thing to look at. And you can even look at the tariff tax revenues, which of course is a much bigger deal these days.
Yeah, right. Let me say this quickly, Brother Wilson. 1 million seconds. 1 million seconds is 32, rounded up by 32 years.
Yeah.
1 trillion seconds. You say it's $38 trillion deficit. 1 trillion seconds is 32,000 years. And so what I'm saying is that U.S. debt clock, they removed, if you look at it today, since Trump been in office, they removed household assets, corporate assets, small business assets, and all they have up there is debt and employment. They removed that from the debt clock. But I want you to also consider the U.S. wealth clock. How much wealth, household wealth, small business wealth, and corporate wealth. Because, as I said, those entities are benefiting from a tax policy that's skewed towards the top end, the top 10%. The top 10% owns about 85% or control 85% to 90% of the wealth and the wealth producing assets. And they're going to, so the bottom 90%, black people has about 3% of the national wealth, but we are 15% of the population. And so these numbers, these policies, and when people say voting doesn't matter, part of that voting is voting on those who's going to implement tax policy. I'm not saying
absolutely.
Yes, sir. All right.
No, I'm saying absolutely. I mean, because we the public are responsible, and we contribute to the finances and the economics of this nation, whether it's just earning a salary or paying the Social Security or taxes or buying groceries. All of those things are a part of what add up. But we don't exercise the vote enough to impact economic policy when we think about elected public officials. So you're very right. I mean, even though we're not the ones to appoint the people to the Federal Reserve, we can appoint by electing people who make those appointments and have an impact. So thank you very much for calling, Don.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a blessed day. All right, folks, it is 7:48 a.m. We're going to take a break now, and we'll be back with more news and information that you want to know, should know, might want to know right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Lots of sunshine expected this week with temperatures gradually warming each day. Sunny today with highs ranging from 65 to 69 degrees and light wind. Lows tonight dip to the 30s and 40s on the North Shore and the 40s and 50s on the South Shore. Highs Tuesday rise above 70. We're back in the 80s by the end of the week. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Well, good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to the Good Morning Show. It's 7:51 a.m. We're happy to have you along with us. And those of you who have been listening, of course, you know we brought you some news and information of local interest, focused on some crime, unfortunate crime. And we've been talking about the election, which is ongoing with early voting. And Don and I got into a conversation about the economy and the national debt and so forth. Always good to be reminded about things like that because it is important and makes a difference to how we live and how we're able to live. So where are my Saints fans at? Where are my Saints fans? Saints fans, who dat? Who dat? How about that game yesterday? Do you feel like there's a big difference between Spencer and Tyler? Or is this just a shutdown season? Go out and play, do the best you can, and get some good poor standings so you can get some really talented people in the draft. How do we get through the rest of the season like this? How do we get through the rest of the season like this? My goodness. It seems like nothing we do on the field is working. And so is that a matter of the players that we have in key positions like quarterback? Or is this more about coaching? Or is it a matter of the combination of the players that we have when we don't have the right combination? Maybe we have some players who are too old. We love them. We have loved them. But are they too old? Where are my Saints fans at? What do you think? Can we win any more games? We've won one game. One game. One game, 8 losses. Lost to the Los Angeles Rams Sunday, 34-10. 34-10. So that doesn't even look like they were in the game, does it? I have to say there were some decent plays, but Lord, 15 of 24 passes for 176 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception for Mr. Rookie Tyler Shaw. Is that better than Spencer Rattler? Do we need to bring Spencer back? Or is Tyler the man? Is Tyler the man? So my colleague Rod Walker took a look at some of this stuff, and he's just reminding folks of the eliteness of the NFC and how yesterday's loss in context, 34-10, is bad, but maybe it's not as bad when you look at the fact that the Los Angeles Rams are a Super Bowl contending team. So they're at a higher place than we are. But Rod says this season is over. The season is over. But with the NFL trade deadline Tuesday, perhaps the Saints make some moves to help with the rebuild. Where are the Saints fans at? What would you like to see them do? What can they do to make some moves to maybe win a game or two this season? And do you think it'll make much difference that they are playing the pitiful Carolina Panthers next week? So I say pitiful Panthers because they're 5-4 and they should be much better than that. And they did upset the Packers on Sunday. But if they're pitiful, what are we? Standing at 1-8. Whew, Lord. We are struggling. How much time we're going to give Mr. Moore, Kellen Moore? He just got here. This is his first season with the Saints. Not sure we can put it all on him. He has hired his coaches at the preseason, spring training, launch of the season, and it's just not looking good. Do the Saints need to give him more to work with? Is he having enough time, enough opportunities with the players that he has? Or is this a situation where we say, Kellen Moore, you get one more season, and we think that's it? Now, I don't think that's the best way to go about building a team. But how many seasons do you give him? Some of y'all like Dennis Allen, wanted to hold on to him. Some of y'all didn't from the first year. But that didn't go over so well. But 1-8, that's below pitiful, folks. That is below pitiful. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? You can't go and play yourself. Can't go and say, I want to be a coach. You can't even go and say, I want to be a part of the cheer squad. So what can we do? What can we do? We can talk about it. We can talk about what they need to do. Maybe they might hear us. We can break down the film, watch the game over again, watch some plays, and see where we've got weaknesses and maybe make suggestions about players, types of players that we need. But, man, 1-8 makes me sad in a sports kind of way. Makes me sad. I feel bad for some of our veteran players who've been with the team for a while. And it's been a bit since we won the Super Bowl. And it's been a bit since we've been in playoffs. And who doesn't like to win? Heck of a thing to put all your energy into preparing for the game, getting to the game, do your part, and watch other folks not do their part or to do their jobs poorly. Meanwhile, the Pelicans aren't much better. Have we won a game? No. Are we having some good players? Yes. Are we seeing some good players have some good plays? Yes. But this ain't horseshoes, folks. So we need some wins with the Saints and the Pelicans. You got ideas about that? I'd sure love to hear it. But meanwhile, we're going to take a break, and we're going to go back to some news and information that you might want to know, should know. And we're going to share that with you. Love to hear from you. You're hearing my voice. I'm Will Sutton. We'd love to hear from your voice on the WBOK 1230 AM talk line. 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A Detroit cop went viral after appearing pantsless in a virtual court hearing.
Officer Jackson, badge number 3919, out of the 12th precinct.
All right. You got some pants on, officer?
Judge Sean Perkins was stunned as Officer Matthew Jackson admitted, "No, sir," before adjusting his camera. The department issued a memo reminding officers of proper attire. Former President Barack Obama is hitting the campaign trail ahead of Election Day, rallying for Democrats in two key gubernatorial races. He'll be headlining events Saturday in Norfolk, Virginia for Abigail Spanberger and in Newark, New Jersey for Mikey Sherrill. And 50 Cent is trolling Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr. after Stars canceled BMF following 4 seasons. He posted photos of the actor holding an out-of-work sign. However, spinoffs under the BMF Immortal banner are still in development. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
New Schools for New Orleans, along with Allstate Sugar Bowl and Entergy New Orleans, would like to send a huge congratulations to our class of 2025 New Orleans Excellence in Teaching Award honorees. This year, we had 87 Teachers of the Year from each public school in New Orleans. Each of them was recognized at our annual gala, where we had over 350 attendees. We are excited to share that each honoree is also receiving a $1,000 classroom grant. Thank you for everything you do.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It is just after 8 a.m. If you needed to be there at 8, you are late. It is 8:02 a.m. Maybe you're in the parking lot and you can get granted some grace. If you need to be there at 8:15, you might have a chance to get there and be where you're supposed to be if you have a little bit of flex time. And 8:30, you should be in good shape for getting there, as long as you got all your stuff together and you're ready to walk out of the house with your teeth, your keys, your phone, your watch, glasses, anything that you need to have with you when you go out for your day or part of your day. So, look, we talked about the bond measures last week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Just want to continue to remind you that early voting continues through November 8th, and the polls are open at the early polling locations, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Election Day is coming up on November 15th, and the polls are open then, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you want to learn about voting by mail, you can go to sos.la.gov. You can also check out the Power Coalition website, pcej.org/VBM, vote by mail. VBM, Victor, Black, Male, MAIL or MALE, whatever helps you remember the letters. pcej.org/VBM. So the last day to request a mail ballot is November 14th. You can request, if you're eligible, you can request it today or tomorrow, and you can receive it, but you must complete it and mail it back so that it is received no later than 4:30 p.m. on November 14th, or you can drop it off to make sure it gets there. And again, we're voting in runoff on Clerk of Criminal District Court, Calvin Duncan and Darren Lombard. We had council member District A candidates on Friday, Holly Freeman and Amy McCarron. And last week, Monday, we had a council member District E candidates, Jason Hughes, State Representative Jason Hughes, and former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen. So those folks are seeking your vote. If you live in Orleans Parish, you have a person to vote for a clerk, the incumbent Darren Lombard, or the challenger Calvin Duncan. And if you live in District A, you have an opportunity to vote for two positions of authority and responsibility. That would be the clerk position and for one of the District A candidates, Holly Freeman or Amy McCarron. Really good conversation on Friday. So I hope that you all listened in and caught all or some of that. It's on our Facebook page, of course. And in District E, if you live in District E, State Representative Jason Hughes and former City Councilwoman Cindy Nguyen, they would like to succeed Councilman Oliver Thomas. And if you're in that district, like if you're in District A, then you have the opportunity to vote for your council representatives as well as the clerk. We spent some time talking about bond measures last week, and want to talk with you some more about that today. And I'm looking for your feedback on the information that you have received and what else you would like to know, even though you already have voted, or more information that you would like to know if you have yet to vote. Meanwhile, let's take a call. Raquel, good morning.
Good morning, Will. How you doing?
Fabulous. Now that you're calling.
Yay. I'm just calling in and checking in to let you know I had a little community news. I guess a repeat what was aired on one of the segments on the news about Kermit, Brother Kermit Ruffin. Good job on him in embracing the food insecurity that the whole America is dealing with right now, that he's starting in this month in November.
Yeah.
Have you seen the segment?
No, I heard about that, though. I saw him at a festival just a couple of weekends ago, and he was talking about looking to do his part. So I'm glad to see this is happening.
Yeah, and Will, if you want to mention it again and stuff, it's the Kermit Ruffin dinner drive that he's doing, I believe, at the lounge starting all November. I believe it'll be starting at 5 o'clock. He'll be having dinner plates for everyone. It's I believe a drive-through. And also I believe he is doing that, like I said, all through November, and I think he's starting right before 5, right after 5, so dinner time. So that I think that is truly a blessing for the city, and God bless him for that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Anything that we can do to help folks would be really good because as this government shutdown continues, more and more people are being affected in negative ways. And in some families, it's not just one person with a job and no income, but 2 or 3. So good to know that he's doing that. And happy to hear that. We'll try to get some more information so that we can share that.
Yeah, I believe it's 1500 North Claiborne Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana. Everybody should know where the mother-in-law lounge is at.
Absolutely.
And thank God it's all November, you know.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
Well, good.
All right, Will.
All right. Sounds
y'all
good.
take care, WBOK, and keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
You too.
All right. Reverend Calhoun, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. We just wanted to remind the people that we will have all our candidates down at the food lab in the lower 9th Ward today, this afternoon, I should say, around 4 o'clock at the food lab. That's going to be in the 5000 block of St. Claude Street.
5000?
Yeah, I think it's 5032.
5032. St. Claude.
It's between Falstaff and Renee.
Okay.
But all of our candidates have said that they'll be there.
Does that include the clerk position?
Lombard, I'm sorry?
Does that include the clerk position?
The clerk position, as well as our candidates for District Key.
Okay.
So all have confirmed and said they will be there this evening. And I think we're going to get started about 5 o'clock. So if that could, just putting it out there so people can know what's going on in Lower 9 today.
Okay.
But Will, I do have some concerns.
What you got?
Did you get your invitation to the Halloween party over at Malargo?
I was not there.
You didn't get it?
No.
How can you have a party of that magnitude and not think about the people that won't have food to eat? If Mike Johnson and Steve Scalise and all these people that call themselves Christians cannot see the damage that's being done to people, I would think, well, something's wrong with their viewpoint. I mean, at some point, we got to talk about what's real and what's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the lady just announced that we're at a stage where we got to look at other people to help feed people within the city of New Orleans. So I'm just saying what it is. Something ain't right here.
Well, the way things are right now, Reverend Calhoun, it looks like we're headed toward this being the longest government shutdown ever, and that is not good. There's still an impasse between Democrats and Republicans over whether to proceed with this continuing resolution and then talk about health care later, or from the Democrats' perspective, we need to talk about it now because you're about to hurt even more people.
And this is what I'm saying. Where is the concern? Where is the empathy for that? All right. If you look, like I say, those costumes those people had on could have fit a whole bunch of folks. So when you don't have this level of compassion to come down to people, I just wonder what it's really all about. Is it about what Don was saying about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer so they can maintain the lifestyle that they have? I don't know.
Well, the president said on 60 Minutes that he will not negotiate with the Democrats. He will not be extorted. And I found interesting this comment. He said, and if they don't vote, it's their problem.
What you say, Bob?
Say that again?
No, I didn't say anything.
He said, the president said, and if they don't vote, it's their problem.
Right. So we still back at he don't really care about people. And I don't think we have the luxury anymore not to put ourselves in a position to help one another. If we don't start talking about how we unify to make sure our children have a future, because I can guarantee you, Trump's great-great-great-grandchildren would never have a problem with it being getting an education, being able to pay for an education, or being able to pay for food. And for him to slap in your face that he don't care, and then he got a group of people following him, they're saying it's okay. They're saying, oh, we got to open up the government. No, all you got to do is come together and talk about how you're going to fix health care. Everything that Donald has done has been not to help but to hurt the United States of America. And I don't think you got to be that smart just to look and see what damage is being done. He's ruthless and he's lawless. He don't care. It's only what laws he want to observe, how it benefits him, that this thing moves forward. But anyway.
Yeah, well, when you're talking about people not receiving food assistance, not receiving their SNAP benefits, being told to work and not get paid, or outright losing their jobs, that's beginning to have a much broader impact.
Well, he just said, he announced to the people in Virginia, I think they have more federal government employees in Virginia than you have anywhere, that he's going to lay off some more. So he's not caring about this country. He's caring about who he can hurt so he can get his way. That's crazy. Where's the benefit for all the people? I don't know, Will.
Yeah.
I think about where things are, and I do believe God still has all power. So I'm not really that concerned about God's people, because he will see that they're taken care of. But I'm just concerned about how he has no empathy for people.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
Well,
we got about 40,000 federal employees in Louisiana. I don't know how many of them have lost their jobs yet, but that's for our size state. That's not a small number. I believe California and Virginia have alternated with the largest number of federal employees, but they are 1 and 2, one way or another, California and Virginia. And, of course, Maryland right on the other side of the District of Columbia as well. So that's Virginia and Maryland on either side of Washington, D.C., and California out there with somewhere in the neighborhood of 150,000 federal employees. But that's often perceived as liberal progressive California, but it's and then very conservative Texas and Florida. But Texas and Florida are right up there with the number of federal employees, so they're going to be affected too.
So the ripple effect is going to come down to state level, city level?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you have residents whose jobs are federal jobs, so let's just take California, 150,000 federal employees. Now, California is a big state, but 150,000 people, and the longer this goes on, all of them will probably not keep their jobs or keep their jobs at the same level or have to work fewer hours or or work and not get paid, which is what some people are being asked to do and have been being asked to do. And it's just in the last week or two that some of them received the last check that they may receive for a while, unless and until this thing comes to some kind of closure.
I can just keep on praying. Like I said, I don't think people understand this is going to impact everybody somewhere along the line.
Well, and Reverend Calhoun, you know, one of the things about this type of shutdown for this length of time is that there's some things that will be hard to bring back.
Right.
Once you stop them.
Yeah, he can break it to the point it will not be able to be fixed.
Right.
In our lifetime.
Yep.
So.
And I think that's the part
right,
that maybe a number of people don't see. This may be hurting people you know, but not yet hurting you, but it will hurt you. It will hurt all
You're
of
going to be impacted some kind of way.
Absolutely.
I don't care if you're a retiree or whoever you are. This thing is going to hurt somebody, hurt us down the road.
Absolutely. Positively. Yep. Well, I'm glad you
All
all
right,
have
then,
that.
Mr.
Are you calling it a forum or a debate this evening? What is it?
No, it's actually labeled as a meet and greet. It's not a forum. You'll be able to speak with candidates, ask them any questions you want, whatever you want to speak with them on. So I do have a number of questions I will raise. So I just want to find out exactly where we are and where we're going, especially in District E.
All right. So it won't. People can come there, come and go as they wish.
Yeah, they can come and go as they wish, or they could sit down at a table and have that conversation with them.
Okay, but they won't be up front and taking questions. It's just whoever walks over to them, right?
Yes.
Okay. And is there an end time?
7 o'clock, I believe.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right.
5 to 7.
So that's at the Food Lab, and I just looked them up. That's 5131 St. Claude Avenue. And the phone number over there is 504-325-6921. Is there somebody else they can contact if they're interested in attending tonight?
Yeah, they can always call me.
Okay.
And because my number is public, so if they need any more information or anything, but we will have a light refreshments for them. So if you're coming from work, you can stop and have at least get something and have that conversation with our candidates. I think it's necessary, Will, that the public speak one-on-one. We can do the campaigning and the ads and all of that. But for me, it's when I can go and speak to them and ask real questions.
Right.
To see where everything is.
Right.
All right.
All right. Well, good. Once again, that's at the Food Lab, a candidates meet and greet for clerk candidates and District E candidates. And that is at the Food Lab in the Lower Ninth Ward, 5131 St. Claude Avenue.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Reverend Calhoun. Appreciate your calling in. As always, have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye. All right. That was Reverend Calhoun. I am Will Sutton. This is WBOK 1230 AM. You got something to add, something to say, something to let us know about, something to get off your chest. The talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. It is 8:22, not 9:22. It is 8:22, people. Turn your clocks back if you haven't done it already. 8:22 a.m. And this is WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. The New Orleans Police Department is investigating a deadly shooting in New Orleans East. Investigators say a man was found shot and killed on Lawrence Road around 3:30 this morning. That's just a few blocks off Crowder Boulevard. No information on a suspect or a possible motive for the shooting has been released at this time. Then early voting is underway, and there are several ballot issues this time around. French Quarter residents will vote on whether to renew what's called a quarter for the quarter tax. It is a sales tax already in place that funds the French Quarter Management District. That group pays for supplemental police patrols, repairing streetlights, repainting parking zones, and other quality of life issues. Election Day is Saturday, November 15th. Finally, starting today, Kermit Ruffin's Treme Mother-in-Law Lounge will hand out free meals to families having a tough time amid the government shutdown. So starting at 5 p.m., they will be out serving plates of fried chicken, shrimp fried rice, pasta, and more. Attendees can stay in their cars while picking up those meals. This is happening Monday through Thursday, all November long. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
Wake up your taste buds at Inner City Brews and Bistro, home of the one-of-a-kind peach cobbler pancakes. Start your day with our soulful breakfast favorites. Then come back for bold cocktails and those oh-so-good Creole flavors that always hit just right. In the heart of Treme, every bite feels like home. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. and find us at 1401 St. Bernard Avenue. Inner City Brews and Bistros, uniquely New Orleans, deliciously unforgettable.
The National World War II Museum. Located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans, the National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com. Fresh produce, local flavor, and a healthy you. New Orleans East Hospital is hosting a farmers market the last Wednesday of every month from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join us in the parking lot across from the main entrance. Support local farmers and your wellness. We'll see you there.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. This is Will Sutton. You're listening to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 AM. And we'd love to hear from you. Good conversation with Reverend Calhoun. Wonderful reminder from Raquel about the Mother-in-Law Lounge and the plates that will be shared Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. For those who are having a tough time. You don't have to go in. They'll serve you at your car, and you can keep going with fried chicken and pasta and other goodies that are available at a tremendous price, free. So that's starting at 5 p.m. today and continuing today through Thursday, and each week in November, Monday through Thursday. So we hope to find out more about that and share with you. For those of you who are going to take advantage of that opportunity later today, we'd love to hear from you tomorrow about that. Last week we had BGR, the Bureau of Government Research, on talking about the three large bond measures and their take on these bond measures. So there's Proposition 1, Proposition 2, and Proposition 3. So with those three, based on the research that the BGR did, they are recommending that voters approve Propositions 2 and Propositions 3. So the Proposition 2 is a $415 million bond, and that would authorize the city of New Orleans to have debt with general obligation bonds for multiple series and for very specific projects with the city infrastructure. So that would be focused on improving roads and streets and bridges and buildings, lands, public safety facilities, rec facilities, and other types of infrastructure. And some of that would include software and technology improvements, furnishings, essential services and vehicles, essential service vehicles, and so forth. So this would not be a tax increase, no estimated increase in the millage rate to be leveled in the first year above 14.5 mills, which is the current level. And so if you're voting yes for that, you're agreeing to have the city look for those bonds, get those bonds with your approval, so that they can do more work on some of the infrastructure need, very serious infrastructure needs in the city of New Orleans. If you vote no, the city would not be authorized to issue these bonds, and some of these projects for infrastructure, technology, equipment, and facilities would not be able to proceed. And the third proposition, number 3, is the $50 million bond that would authorize the city to get bonds to help with drainage and stormwater management. So that would be, again, for some specific projects permitted by the Home Rule Charter. That would include getting necessary equipment, property, and installations for these improvements with drainage and stormwater. And if you vote yes, you're authorizing the city to issue up to $50 million, not to issue $50 million, to issue up to $50 million for general obligation bonds to fund these projects. And if you vote no, the city would not be authorized to issue these bonds, and therefore some of the planned improvements would likely not proceed. So BGR and city agree on Proposition 2 and Proposition 3. That's the $450 million bond for Proposition 2 for infrastructure and the $50 million bond for drainage and storm water. It gets a little bit more interesting when we come to Proposition 1, because that is the affordable housing bond measure for $45 million. And for those of you who were listening on Friday, when we had BGR in, when we had BGR in, that would, a yes vote would mean that once they have your approval, that they would proceed with construction, renovations, acquiring properties, and improving affordable housing facilities with furnishings and fixtures and equipment and other such things to help improve affordable housing in the city of New Orleans. Now, BGR and affordable housing advocates don't always agree on things, but they agree that they think voters should reject this one. From BGR's standpoint, it's because the project list isn't specific enough. And so you're asking voters for approval of a $45 million bond, yet you haven't provided enough specifics. From the affordable housing and housing advocates and activists' vantage point, they look at this as an end round of the recently approved Housing Trust Fund and trying to steer voters away from what they just agreed to with the Housing Trust Fund. So BGR and housing advocates agreeing on something like that, they don't always do that. So they're urging no votes for that. Meanwhile, the city of New Orleans is saying that it should be a yes votes because they need some flexibility to proceed to deal with some of the affordable housing issues in the city of New Orleans. So we expect to have a city of New Orleans representative on with us later this week to explain the vantage point of why to vote for all three. And we had a BGR on to talk about why two of them, 2 and 3 and not 1. And we hope to have housing advocates on to represent that viewpoint as well. So those are some of the things that you have an opportunity to vote on, whether you vote in the early voting period, which is ongoing now and continues in through November 8th, and then Election Day on November 15th. So that's something that everybody in the parish of Orleans can have a say on. And there are some other issues on the ballot depending on where you live. But another citywide issue is the amendment of the Home Rule Charter to establish that the city attorney is independent and represents the city of New Orleans by representing the mayor of the city of New Orleans and the city council of New Orleans. So let's talk about that more in a minute. We've got a caller. Good morning, Freddie. Good morning, Freddie. Good. Oh, we lost you. Please call back, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. I'm Will Sutton. This is the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 AM. The talk line is 504-582-9422. It is not 9:37 a.m. If you didn't set your clocks to fall back, you need to take care of that this morning because it is 8:37 a.m. with the time change. So make sure you take care of that. Freddie, we saw your call. We want you to call back 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. And if you are not Freddie and you've got something to say about the elections, the runoffs, about the amendments that are before the voters citywide, we'd love to hear what you have to say and get you weighing in on these and other issues. Now, back to this amendment to the city charter. This would, my opinion, not really change what the city attorney is supposed to do. We have a city attorney that officially is hired by the mayor, but reports to the mayor and the city council. My reading of this is that really doesn't change anything, but what this would change is who has the responsibility for determining the city attorney's tenure. Right now, we're going to take a call. Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Hey, Will, you sound a lot better without that clown Eddie
Come on.
hanging around.
Ben, that's enough. Nope. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I am here. Yes, I am solo, and we're not going to talk about people who aren't here, and we're not going to talk about people in that way, okay? So if you got something that you want to add constructively, it can be you disagreeing with me or adding another perspective, but not that way. Let's not do that, okay? All right, so we want to respect everybody who's behind the mic on this side at WBOK, and we want to respect everybody who's on the other side of the mic calling in to WBOK. So let's be civil in that way, and that doesn't even mean not raising your voice, but let's not do that. Okay, Ben? Okay, everybody? Let's be sure we not do that. So back to this amendment. It would amend the city charter to essentially recommit ourselves to having an independent city attorney hired by the mayor, but reporting to the mayor and the city council. And this amendment is supposed to clarify that the primary client for the city attorney requires compliance with ethical rules, mandates, consultation with all branches of government, ensures independent and impartial legal judgment in case of conflicting directives. Hear that part again. Ensures independent and impartial legal judgment in case of conflicting directives, and upholds the duty to follow the law, and prohibits conflicting representation in interbranch disputes without consent. So essentially, that would mean the city attorney can't represent the mayor and city council if they have a serious disagreement. But what would be different if the voters approve this is that the ability to unilaterally remove the city attorney would not be up to the mayor, which is what it currently does. If this amendment were approved, voters would be saying that we want the city council to have a check on you, Madam or Mr. Mayor, because this is not mayor specific. If the voters approve this, you would be saying, yes, we want an independent city attorney responsible to the mayor and city council, hired by the mayor. But rather than having the mayor have the sole ability to get rid of the city attorney, the city council with 5 votes could override the mayor's decision and keep the city attorney in his or her role. That would be a significant change. There really is no change in terms of what the city attorney is supposed to be doing. But the change would be who could decide whether the city attorney stays or goes. So I'd love to know what you all think about that. The city attorney position is one that the mayor-elect Helena Moreno is seeking candidates for right now. And this could have some impact on how which candidates have a desire to work in such an important role, whether voters approve this change or not. So what do you think about the city attorney role? Should the mayor have the sole responsibility for appointing, choosing, working with the city attorney, and knowing that that city attorney has responsibilities to the city council? Or should the city council have the opportunity to keep the mayor in check by choosing to agree with the mayor that the city attorney can be fired, or disagreeing with the mayor and saying, no, he or she cannot. And so that is on the ballot for November. If you're early voting, that's on the ballot that you can approve or reject as well. There's another amendment to the city charter that hasn't been talked about a lot, and that is the role for the city planning commission and city council to act on the master plan and any amendments. So this, if voters say yes, you would be agreeing to extend the deadlines for the city planning commission and city council to review and act on the master plan and any amendments. So you would be agreeing to give them more time. And if you vote no, you would be saying, we think you have the deadlines that you need to have. Just keep things as they are. So, again, something else to consider. It's not getting a lot of attention, but you should be aware of that section of the city charter, which is Section 5404, and be aware that that is something that you have the opportunity to vote on. So you can vote on the candidates, the runoff candidates, but you have these bond measures to vote on, and you have the city charter amendment proposals to vote on as well. So it is 8:45, not 9:45 a.m. We're going to take a break in a moment, and when we come back, we're going to share more news and information that you want to know, might want to know, should know, as you get going with your day. Keep your eyes and ears open about other things that will be happening. We're going to take a break. This is WBOK 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Lots of sunshine expected this week with temperatures gradually warming each day. Sunny today with highs ranging from 65 to 69 degrees and light wind. Lows tonight dip to the 30s and 40s on the North Shore and the 40s and 50s on the South Shore. Highs Tuesday rise above 70. We're back in the 80s by the end of the week. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks.
And Kimber White Dupree.
From the front porch, y'all. You know how we do. Every Monday is Moving Monday.
And Tuesday is Trivia Tuesday.
And y'all know we have nothing but bad cheering coming through here on Wednesday.
But stick with us. On Thursday, we travel.
That's right. And Friday's Free Your Mind Friday, so get your brass up.
Something on your mind? Want to get it off your chest?
Holla at your people. WBOK 1230 AM, the station you listen to.
All day long.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
After 28 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit, Calvin Duncan established his innocence in a court of law. But Darren Lombard doesn't care about justice. He teamed up with Jeff Landry's attorney general to attack Calvin. They even sued him to stop him from talking about his innocence. According to Landry and Lombard, even if you're judged innocent, you're still guilty. Let's send Landry and Lombard a message. Vote number 7, Calvin Duncan.
Paid for by Calvin for Clerk.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060. Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Brian Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It is not 9:49 a.m. It is 8:49 a.m. So if you didn't take care of changing your clocks, please do. Please do. So you can be in sync if you got these handy-dandy watches and phones and a car that's more recently produced than mine, then probably the time changes automatically. But if you got those alarm clocks and your car clocks and your oven clock and the clock on your wall that runs by a battery, you might want to change your clocks to be in sync with the rest of this part of the world. It is 8:50 a.m. So look, I know these are charter amendments that haven't been talked about quite a bit. We're going to remind you about these across the week as we have early voting and then Election Day on November 15th. But because they haven't gotten a lot of attention, we want to make sure that you are aware of some of the things that, you know, not as high profile. So again, on this New Orleans City Charter Amendment, that is on the November 15 ballot. The early voting is underway now through November 8th. And this particular charter amendment, which is Article 4, Section 406, if you care to look it up, gives voters a chance to decide whether they want to clarify what is already true. The city attorney reports to the mayor and the city council. The city attorney represents the entire city of New Orleans and not just the mayor or the city council. So the mayor hires the city attorney. The city council is to be represented by that city attorney. The mayor is to be represented by that city attorney. And the city of New Orleans is to be represented by the city attorney and not just representing the mayor or the city council. That's been the case. A lot of us believe that's been the case. But there have been some issues and some concerns about whether the city attorney reports to the mayor and only the mayor, and what happens when there are legal disputes between the mayor and the city council, and whether the city attorney has the responsibility to be neutral and independent. The ballot, this issue is on the ballot because the city council wanted to place this before the voters to see what you would say. The mayor vetoed the proposed amendment and didn't want it on the ballot because she thinks that this is fine the way it is. If you, the voters, registered voters, vote in favor of this amendment, it would be effective on January 13, 2026, which is the first full day in office for the next mayor, Helena Moreno, and the next city council. Inauguration day, swearing-in day is January 12th. But since that happens midday, that's not the first full day. So this would happen on January 13th. The big change would be not who hires the city attorney, but who's responsible for deciding whether the city attorney keeps his or her job. Because if this is approved, the mayor can decide to fire the city attorney, and the city council can override that decision if the city council believes that there is good reason for the city attorney to continue in his or her job. Now, if the voters say yes, the mayor hires a city attorney. The mayor decides to fire that city attorney for quote-unquote valid cause. That could create some conflict because the city council can say, no, you can't fire him or her, and you can keep working. We expect you to represent the mayor, the city council, and the city of New Orleans. So that is the big key essence of whether that proceeds and operates the way is proposed in the amendment. Doesn't mean the mayor would not hire the city attorney, but who gets to determine that person's future would not be up to the mayor exclusively. So if you want to know more about that, you can check online with the city charter. You can check online with BGR, bgr.org, and look for the BGR in brief would give you a summary, and then there's elsewhere on the website more detail. And then there's another amendment, not as high profile as even that one, and the city attorney charter amendment hasn't had much high profile visibility. But there's another one that looks at the amending the home rule charter for the city of New Orleans to change the deadlines for the city planning commission and the city council to act on the master plan and any amendments as they currently exist. So if you want to tell them, we want you to keep the deadlines as they are, then you vote no. You vote no on that. If you want to grant them the additional time, which is what they think they need, then you would vote yes on that amendment. But again, if you live in Orleans Parish, yes, we have elected a mayor. Yes, we have elected most of city council. Yes, we have elected re-elected an assessor. Yes, we have elected a sheriff. We have made some decisions in each of those races, but we have runoffs for District A on city council, District E on city council, and the clerk. But these are important issues, folks, whether to amend the city charter. It is no small thing to amend the city charter, but that is not something that the mayor or city council can do. It must go through you, the voter. So please take this seriously. Be prepared to hear more about that this week because we want to keep you informed. And early voting is ongoing through the 8th. And don't forget, you can get absentee or mail ballots and get those back in by November 14th. You can get them as late as November 12th, but you're pushing up against the deadline for mailing it in, and you might want to take it in. But again, remember, it's not just seniors who are eligible for absentee and mail ballots. So I hope that you have heard those things and that you will follow through. And sure, we want you to vote for your city council candidate of choice and your clerk of choice. But we want you to participate and be engaged with these bond measures and the charter amendments as well. It is not 9:58 a.m. It is 8:58 a.m. Don't forget to change those clocks. And you got another couple of minutes before the school zone speed limits are off. So please be careful as you're driving out there watching those babies. Beautiful weather, cool and crisp out there, but dress accordingly and drive safely. We want to thank Don and Raquel, Reverend Calhoun, for calling in. Appreciate that Kermit Ruffins and the Mother-in-Law Lounge is giving away free dinners starting at 5 p.m. over on Claiborne. And don't forget about the Food Lab opportunity to meet and greet candidates in the Lower Ninth Ward on St. Claude Avenue tonight at 5. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. The talk line is 504-582-9422. Upcoming is The Front Porch with Graylin and Kemba. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.